regrets. I'm blessed to say the old me dead and gone away.
Hello, welcome. I'm Laon, a certified life coach and addiction and recovery coach that teaches manifestation so you can manifest the life of your dreams. Thank you for being here. If you want to check out any one-on-one services, all of that is at soulutionscoaching.org. All right. Cool. We're just going to hop right in. All right. So my client gave me permission to share a little bit of her success story. I'm going to be posting the actual screenshot of what she wrote out. So I will be posting that in a later video. But I wanted to hop on here and give a little bit of a backstory. So one of my clients had come to me. She's been dating this man, and this man was not ready to get married. And that's what he was responding back to her. No, I'm not ready. And she was reacting because she set a time limit. By this time, I want to be married. And things started to go sideways. She reacted. They ended up separating and, having a little bit of a falling out for a few days, maybe a week. And what I told, she came to me, asked me, like, what do I do? And in this panic, right? And I told her, okay, we need to focus on you. Because one thing that she was doing, and which has been a pattern of hers, is focusing on the specific person, trying to do affirmations for them to conform to be the version of them that's ready for marriage. So she was doing affirmations or scripting and things like that to say, he's ready for marriage, he's going to propose to me, this is how it's going to happen, and so on and so forth, right? So she was giving all of her power to the specific person, right? And he wasn't reciprocating it, right? Because she hasn't changed. She hasn't become the version of her who was chosen, who was pursued, who was prioritized. She was staying at his house because she felt insecure. If she left, maybe there was somebody else that would come over. And, doing these things in the 3D to show I'm not this new version of me who is getting the full commitment that I'm looking for. So he couldn't give her the full commitment. So they ended up getting into this huge fight. She reacted and said, well, okay, if you're not going to get married to me, then we're not going to be together at all. And gave him that ultimatum. And, she understood after talking to me, like, that wasn't the correct move, but we can fix it. It's not a horrible thing that just happened or something that's impossible to change. So what I guided her to do is have listen to subliminals or affirmation tapes about self-concept. Becoming the version of her who gets the commitment, who is chosen, who is prioritized. And after a few days of doing this, along with the self-talk, again, starting to see things and perceive things through the version of her, through their eyes, who has the marriage, who already got proposed to. Starting to think thoughts in alignment to, I just got proposed to, and I'm getting married. Sorry for Oliver. It's the mailman. It's that time of the day. But, so she started calling her, which is not a typical thing, and saying every single thing that she had wanted. So he came back apologizing, saying every single thing that she had wanted. So he came back apologizing, saying that he does want to marry her. By the end of the year, they will be getting proposed, or they will be getting engaged to each other. And that he, misses her and he wants to be with her and only her, and so on and so forth. So he came back pursuing her because she embodied that version of her, right? Prior to that, though, she was focusing on specific person, so he wasn't coming in at all. He was being very cold. There wasn't that trust there. There wasn't the full commitment there. So she thought, and as soon as she took her power back and started focusing on herself, he came in hot and heavy, reflecting back to her every single thing that she was affirming about him and reflecting back her new self-concept. So you can be pursued, even though it looked pretty bad, right? She reacted to the 3D, gave him an ultimatum, said, nope, we're not going to be together. If you're not going to propose to me today, then cool, fine, we just won't be together, right? Because he had reflected back to her, I don't want marriage. I'm not ready for it. So on and so forth. Yet, now he's coming back a few days later, as soon as she started focusing on herself, saying the complete opposite story, because she quantum jumped into a completely different reality, right? How powerful is that, guys? And it didn't take long. I think I met with her, what's today? Friday, so I think I met with her on Tuesday. And she started doing these new things that I had guided her to do. And he came back. She just messaged me today saying all of this, that he reached out to her and, even said, we're going to get married, or I'm going to propose to you. We're going to be engaged by the end of the year. And that you are the woman that I want to marry. Reflected everything back perfectly to her, right? I was seeing my ex and he told me that he doesn't love me romantically. Okay, well, that would be a reflection of you, right? So we don't need to take that personally. And we got to drop, if this is your specific person, we got to drop the narrative of I was seeing my ex. We want to drop the word ex, because that means we currently don't have them, that we are separated from them and we aren't in a relationship with them. So if that is your specific person, stop. Right? We have to go into the embodiment and start thinking thoughts as the person who has the manifestation, who already has a specific person, right? So we wouldn't be calling them our ex. The second thing is that is a perfect reflection of you, right? So it's either you're not loving you, you're not choosing you and prioritizing you, you don't feel worthy of love or good enough for, love. All of these are just beliefs that we can change. It's a state of consciousness, right? So this is a perfect reflection of exactly what we need to work on. So he said he doesn't love you romantically. Okay, well, we know what belief that is. I'm not loved. I'm not chosen. I'm not good enough for love. I'm not good enough for this specific person, right? So we start changing those beliefs and putting the focus on us instead of taking it personally and blaming them like, oh, well, you didn't choose me and you're fucked up and how come you don't love me, and blaming them. We take our power back and understand they don't have free will. We gave them a script and they are playing out the script perfectly, right? They are award-winning actors and actresses playing a role that is so convincing sometimes we even believe it. But we can give them a different script and they will play a different part in our life movie, right? So we start entertaining thoughts about us. What is our beliefs if we had our manifestation? What do those beliefs have to be, right? What thoughts would we be having if we had our manifestation? If they came in, we're together, we're happy, love, there's stability, so on and so forth. What thoughts would we be having? What kind of feelings would we be having? We'd have like that knowing, that security, that comfort, that safety, right? Because it already worked out. Everything played out perfectly and we're back together and in this amazing, beautiful relationship. How would we be walking around in this world? Probably with confidence, with our head held high, doing things, living our life, hanging out with friends, and just having fun in our reality, right? That's what living in the end is. It's just living our life and having fun, doing what we would normally be doing, right? And usually it's not watching manifestation content day after day after day, hour after hour, right? That's not living your life. I get learning content and learning how the law works, but we need some normalcy. So what is normalcy when it comes to man? What would be living in what would you be doing if you already had your specific person, right? What things do you enjoy to do? Start doing those things again, because a lot of times after a separation, we lose ourselves. We stop wanting to do these things because these things remind us of the person, or we don't even want to do anything because we're so depressed. We don't even want to leave our house or our bed. Start creating the identity where we're doing the things that we love. And the way that we do that, let's start focusing on us. What's something that makes us feel good? Okay, is it going swimming? Is it hiking? Is it going for walks? Is it being outside? Is it dancing? Is it singing? Like whatever it is, start to do those things, right? Because it's going to bring you into the present moment. Get lost in that moment. You're going to feel really good doing these things because these are things that you enjoy, whatever it is, right? I just gave examples. And you're going to start to tune into the frequency of you having your manifestation. So you're dialing into that state of consciousness. You're starting to live your life, be present in the moment, and get familiar with the feelings of joy, happiness, comfort, and relief again, right? Instead of the feelings of stress, sadness, and anger, and resentment, and all the feelings that we get after a breakup. So we're starting to reprogram our mind and reprogram our body and our patterns to change. So, and that's just by doing things in the present moment, things that we enjoy, living our life. Now, the other things that we're going to be doing is embodying the beliefs. How do we embody beliefs? First, we identify why this is playing out. What patterns continue to play out in your reality? Usually, most common, especially with a specific person, most common is not being chosen, not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, not being prioritized, right? Those are a lot of the main things that I found with clients. It's the same patterns that keep playing out to where you're either being cheated on, lied to, not fully committed to, or men are always like manipulative or narcissistic, things like that, right? And those are coming from the beliefs of not being chosen, worthy, good enough, or prioritized, right? So we start to embody these new beliefs. There's many different ways we can embody beliefs. So we can do it through listening to affirmation tapes and subliminals. We can do it by the self-talk, which is my favorite way, inner conversations, self-talk, the inner dialogue that we hear in our voice. We start to control it and tell a story of what we do want and the things that we can have, instead of telling the story we don't want and the things that we can't have. So we start to take control of our thoughts, right? And have these inner dialogues and conversations with ourselves, either between us and friends, or us and a higher version of us, our future version of us. Whatever it is, you're talking to yourself in your mind as if you have already received your manifestation or are going to receive your manifestation, because now you have the beliefs that you're chosen, loved, wanted, and you start to talk about these beliefs as if they're current to you, right? That you already embody them. Another thing you can do is scripting or visualize. It doesn't matter the technique that you use, whatever's most comfortable to you, but you want to be consistent in doing that. Because again, we're reprogramming the mind and the body to a whole new pattern, a whole new programming system. So we have to be consistent with these new thoughts every single day, becoming this new version of us, making a decision to not give in to the old story, to not give in to the circumstances, and to just be the version of us, thinking, feeling, and showing up in this world, walking around in this world as this new person in this new identity. Okay, we got to make a choice. It's either we can make the choice to continue lingering in the shit that we don't want and telling our stories of, but he did this and they did that and so on and so forth, or we can begin to tell the stories, well, I successfully manifested my specific person and I changed my beliefs because now I know that I'm chosen and I'm loved and I'm wanted because I'm an amazing person, because I always get what I want, because I know the law is always working in my favor, and so on and so forth, right? And we start telling that new narration in our mind, no matter which technique you're doing. And because you are doing that and you've made a decision, a choice to be this new version of you, it changes your state of consciousness. So you quantum jump into a completely different reality where the person is showing up differently and you are showing up differently, right? And another thing that I like to include is breath work. But any kind of nervous system regulation practice is key to this journey, because you're not only changing your mind, you are changing your body as well. Because your body has patterns of being triggered by certain things, and sometimes will react and give you anxiety, or react and just bring up these emotions, or anger or frustration. So what we need to do is also make sure that our body is in balance with our new thoughts, right? So like the breath work, EFT tapping, cold showers or baths, things like that, right? To where it balances your body and your mind and recenters you. I kind of reacted and messaged him. Okay, well, just because you reacted, it's not the end all be all, right? We want to try to reprogram and recondition ourselves to not react. We have to get to the root cause. Why did we react? And usually it's the basis of, I don't believe that this new story is true. I believe that this old story is more true, right? Based on the programming, based on our experience, and so on and so forth. So we react to it because it triggered us. It triggered a wound, a belief in us. So say, and I'm going to give an overall example. Say your specific person had posted something and online, and it could have been misled, right? To where you didn't know who was all there, or he was out doing something when you didn't think he was doing anything. And there's a fine line. You could either start thinking thoughts of, oh my God, he's out with somebody else and he never goes out and da-da-da. Or we can start thinking the thoughts of, oh, well, he's out, he's having fun, that's good, like, I'm happy for him, and we're going to go out too, and da-da-da, and change the story, right? to where you're not going to feel insecure because somebody went out without you, right? So again, there's two different lanes that you could go down. So if you reacted, you're starting to believe more in the story of, that he's separate from you, that they have free will, that this isn't going to change, and that you can't trust in your manifestation power. What we need to do is bring it back, okay? Again, it's not the end-all be-all that you reacted, but we're going to reprogram ourselves to not react to these things because it's not necessary, right? We're going to change our belief system to be one of security, where we feel secure within ourselves. We feel safe within ourselves regardless of what the 3D is showing us. So when I react to something, I allow myself to do it for a few seconds, catch myself, and realize, wow, I just reacted. That's not necessary. I'm coming from a place of being a victim. I'm coming from a place of believing in the 3D more than believing in myself. And what I need to do instead is regulate myself. So I'll do some breath work and just sit. And then I will do a rampage and start going in on the self-talk of, wait, but I'm the one that is secure and safe within my body. I am the creator and the creation. I know that the law guarantees me to have what I want, so there's no reason for me to react to these things or to feel triggered by these things. The only reason why I'm reacting is because I have a wound. But the fact that there's a wound and I identified this wound, I can heal it, right? And I can make a decision to tell a new story. And instantly I shift, right? Sometimes not always instant, but through the practice of doing this, it has become an instant shift because I understand how states work. I can either stay in the state of where I'm reactive and I'm going to be a victim, or I can make a decision to be in my power and know that this has to change because I'm consciously making the effort to change, right? So that's how I would look at things when I go to react. And just understand why you're reacting in the first place. Like, ask yourself some questions and get down to the root cause, like the belief and why we aren't trusting in ourselves. And it's coming from the belief of whatever, when you ask yourself, well, why did I react? Your mind will answer, well, I reacted because it made me feel insecure. Well, why did it make you feel insecure? Well, because he was with somebody else and not giving me the attention. Okay, well, because I feel like he was with somebody else, even though I didn't see evidence of it, I think that he's with somebody else and giving someone else attention, that makes me feel like I'm not prioritized, I'm not chosen. Okay, if I'm feeling like I'm not prioritized or chosen, that makes sense why I would react, because it brought up a wound from maybe childhood or from a past relationship. Now that I've identified the beliefs, how can I become the version of me that is chosen and prioritized, and where I can comfort myself and soothe myself and give myself what I need? Because what I'm expecting to get from them is actually what I need to give myself, right? And everyone's different. So sometimes just putting your arms around yourself and hugging yourself. Sometimes it's just spending time with you to make you feel secure. Sometimes going into meditation. Sometimes it's breath work. Whatever it is, do these things for yourself and you'll realize that wound starts to heal. You no longer have those limiting beliefs about not being chosen or prioritized, because you enter into a completely different state of consciousness where those beliefs haven't existed, right? And it's an instant shift. As soon as you make the decision, I'm going to comfort myself. I've identified the beliefs. Now, how would I think, feel, and act if I was the one chosen and prioritized? Maybe I can even play in my imagination to where we did these things together, where they're choosing me and prioritizing me, and I'm seeing what it would feel like to be this. So that way I can fully embody it, right? So that's how you go about it. He also says he doesn't want a relationship at all. Okay, well, again, you're giving your power away. Whatever you're experiencing in your 3D from somebody is just a reflection of you. Again, the wounds of not being chosen, not being prioritized, are even worthy of love. So once we start to take our power back, focus on us, what would it feel like? What would you be thinking? And how would you perceive your reality if you were finally chosen, finally loved and worthy of love, and prioritized, getting everyone's attention? What would that feel like to be this person? And I'm not talking about emotion. Just walking around in your world, it would feel differently, right? You'd have a knowing, a confidence, a security within you. Well, you can embody that right now. You can make a decision to feel that right now, regardless of what the 3D is showing you or telling you. That's how we get the change in the reality, is we have to have the internal change first, right? So what thoughts would you be thinking if that person just came to you and said, I choose you. It's you. It's always been you. And I'm so in love. I want this relationship. Shit, I want marriage with you. What thoughts would you be thinking? How would that feel? Right? Start to embody that as if it already happened, or it's, you know for a fact it's going to happen. Right? So start to get clear on that. Get clear on the beliefs that you would have if you were the one chosen, that you were the one in the relationship where somebody's confessing their love to you, where you're getting the full commitment. All eyes on you. Embody that. I don't love my ex anymore and I want to be with my SP, but he doesn't take me seriously. Or he doesn't want serious relationships, sorry. Okay, again, you decide what goes on in your reality. It's literally as simple as that. So if you decide and look at your specific person and be like, no, you do want relationship. You want to be in a fully committed, serious relationship with me and only me. Why? Because I'm the one that's chosen. Why am I chosen? Because I'm an absolutely amazing person. I'm chosen because I'm choosing me right now. I'm chosen because I'm deciding to be chosen. And it's talking to yourself like that, with that certainty, with that conviction, right? In the repetition of doing this and returning to that state, returning to that identity of the woman who's chosen, who gets what she wants, who has the relationship, who SP is pursuing them, that's how you create a different reality. Well, enter into a different reality. Creation's already finished. So there already is a reality out there where you and this person are together and happy and in love, and you are the one that's chosen, right? But we have to quantum jump into that reality. Now, I know it sounds difficult to do, but it's really simple. How would you think? How would you feel? And how would you walk around in this world if you were the one being pursued, where you were the one getting the commitment? You weren't begging for a commitment. They were coming to you saying, we need to be together. I can't live life without being together with you. It's you. It's always been you. You're the chosen one, the only one. You are my number one priority. Making you happy makes me happy. How would that feel if someone just told you that? What thoughts would you be having if you were just told this or in this type of relationship? Start to embody that. Make a decision to be this person now. And stop giving your power away. They don't have any free will. Contrary to belief, nobody has free will. They are all just a projection of your subconscious beliefs and assumptions, your state of consciousness. As soon as you make the internal change, everyone else makes the internal or the external change, right? They have no choice but to reflect you. So like in the beginning of this live, I gave a success story and how I had a client come to me saying that she reacted to her specific person. He said he didn't want to get married, and she ended up saying, all right, well, if you don't want to get married and that's what I want, then we don't need to be together at all. And she broke things off. Then she came to me, said, Lane, let's fix this. Like I reacted and that's not what I want. I want marriage with him. I know this person I want to be with. So how can I get that? And I told her, okay, don't worry about what he said. It doesn't matter what he said. Because again, he doesn't have free will. So I had her go within and focus on herself. Because she was putting a lot of her energy on him. Wondering what he's doing. Making sure that she's spending time with him so that he wasn't with other people. And putting all of her energy outside of her. So I had her focus on herself, start telling the story of what she did want as if it already happened. He came back, he apologized because that's what she wanted. An apology to say, it's you, I want marriage, we're going to get married in this time frame. She wanted by, I think, August. She wanted by August, but that's why she broke things off, because he said, no, it's not going to happen by August. So she wanted all of these things to play out, and it wasn't, right? It reflected back in a negative way. He said, nope, not going to happen. She broke up with him, came to me, worked on herself, started listening to self-concept belief tapes, and embodying a new state of consciousness through new thoughts, new feelings, and perceiving her reality differently, taking her power back. And dude came back. This was on Tuesday we had our session. And dude came back today saying exactly everything that she wanted to hear. We're going to get married by the end of the year. You're the only woman for me. I want to be with you. I miss you. And let's figure this out, pretty much, right? And came back. He was pursuing her. And she said that that's something that he never used to do. She was always pursuing him, and she didn't want to chase him anymore. She didn't want to hound him to get married. She wanted him to come to her and say, it's time, let's do this. Okay? And she got that. Now, are they fully proposed? No, but they're back together. He came to her and reached out because they weren't talking to each other. He reached out to her and rekindled everything. He came to her. That's the main thing. As soon as she shifted onto the reality and the story of what she did want, he came in. Okay? After telling her, no, not going to happen. He changed his tune. A completely different dude showed up. Hey, how do you suggest to deal with triggers? Okay, so with any kind of, with SP thinking about, all right. So any kind of triggers, I do breath work around them because there's a reason why I'm feeling triggered by it. I'm usually having a mental and a physical reaction to my 3D. So I'll do breath work and at least stabilize my physical body. That way I don't go into anxiety or panic or that resentment or anxiousness kind of feelings, right? That discomfort. So I try to at least breathe and relax my body, because when I relax my body, then my thoughts begin to relax. And then I'm able to question why I'm feeling triggered. So if I'm feeling triggered about questioning if SP's thinking about me or not thinking about me, I'm able to question or ask myself, wait, do I have the power? Do I believe that they have free will? The answer is no, they don't have free will. And yes, I do believe that I have power. Then I ask myself, well, how much evidence have I seen of people changing? And because I've played around with the law a lot, I can say, you know, I've had this person change, I've had that person change, seen a reflection in this person. I've had people come to me that I haven't even consciously thought about, yet they reflected back things to me. So clearly thought transmission is a thing, right? Because they're picking up on affirmations, even though I was not thinking about a specific person at that specific person at a time, right? Yet it was reflected back to me. So again, start to question these things and reflect on my own manifestations. If you don't have that ability, then just reflect on the fact, do I believe in the law? Do I believe that they have free will? And how can I prove that, you know, thought transmission works? I know that there's been times where you thought of somebody and then like an hour later they're calling you. There are no coincidences. So look at all of it. Even before you were manifesting, look at the things that you chalked up to coincidence, right? But I would ask myself these questions, and then that would start to calm me down because I already know the answers to these things, right? And it starts to build my faith back up to where I'm not feeling as triggered. Then I start getting into, well, why did this trigger me and why did I react to it? Well, I reacted to it because I didn't trust. Well, why did I feel like I couldn't trust? Well, because it made me feel insecure. Why do I feel insecure? Because I want somebody to be thinking about me, because that's how I feel I'm going to get my manifestation. Okay, well, then I break it down. All right, so I'm feeling insecure. Well, why else do I want this person to be thinking about me? Why else do I want this manifestation? Why do I want this specific person to validate me? Well, because I don't feel good enough right now, and I don't want them to forget about me. Okay, oh, we just got a little bit deeper, right? And I keep going into the story of what the root cause of all of this is that's causing this trigger, and then I pull it by the root, like it's a plant, a weed, and I'm getting it by the root. I'm not just ripping off the little pieces of the weed. No, I'm going straight into it. So we already got the fact I'm feeling insecure, I'm not feeling good enough, and I'm feeling like I'm forgettable. Okay? Then we're going to start to tell a new story to change these beliefs. Maybe listening to an affirmation tape. Maybe just having the self-talk about it. Maybe having inner conversations with a loved one saying, wow, I could never forget you. You're absolutely amazing. And, you know, just the how secure you show up and how confident you show up. Like, I'm so proud of the change within you. And starting to hear these different stories playing out in your mind, and it's going to start to impress into your subconscious mind, where you take on the beliefs, because you've made a decision now to be this new version of you, a new identity. So you begin to take on the beliefs of feeling secure, take on the beliefs of feeling like you are unforgettable, and things like that, right? So that's how I handle any kind of triggers, and I just talk myself down off of the ledge and then sit with it and figure out how can I change the story. What story have I been telling that I let run rampant in my mind? You are the best, Coach Lane. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm happy that I'm able to help so many people and just speak, this stuff. This is what I'm passionate about doing. How long does it take for your manifestation to show up? For your subconscious mind to accept it. Okay. I don't know. I know you don't like that answer. I don't have that answer. I'm not God. I'm a part of God, but things unfold at its own time. They're, like Neville says, at its own appointed hour, right? So you can sit there and try to do things on a time crunch, and unless you have unwavering, absolute faith, chances are you're going to be thrown off, because once you get closer to the date, you start getting the doubt because it hasn't happened yet, and you're trying to figure out, your logical mind steps in trying to figure it out, right? So I don't put time crunches. I don't, just whenever it happens, it happens. So if it's a month, it's a month. If it's 3 months, it's 3 months. If it's 6 months, it's 6 months. I've never seen a client take longer than 6 months. I will say that. And that's straight from not having any self-concept worth, and really starting from the gutter and working themselves up to getting their manifestations. If it's jobs and careers, from not having anything and having any income coming in, or to specific persons when they're in separation and not even talking, okay? So it doesn't matter the amount of time it takes, and you'll realize once you start embodying this new version of you and entering into a different state of consciousness, time becomes irrelevant. You don't even care, right? Because you start to take on the perspective and that knowing of, I already have it. And when you already have something, you aren't outside looking for it and questioning, well, how much time is this going to take? Because you already feel like you have it. And when you have your manifestation, you don't really even think about it. Like, you don't think back like, wow, it took me a year. It took me an entire year to get this manifestation. And what the fuck? Why is it taking me so long? You don't have that mindset because you already manifested it. You don't care that it took you a year because now you got it. I'm not saying it's going to take a year. I'm just, being dramatic. But to give you an idea, it takes as long as it takes you to accept it as true. Okay, and we're not going to force that acceptance. The repetition of returning into a new state of consciousness, a new story, a new identity, however you want to word it, the repetition of doing that is what will change your internal world, and then it changes your external world. It gets pushed out, right? So as soon as you accept these new beliefs, this new story, and walk in that conviction, and truly make the transformation within, you can't fool yourself, okay? Your subconscious mind is a lot smarter than that. You can't fool yourself or try to, fake it till you make it kind of thing. It's literally just the repetition. So if that repetition takes you a week, then cool. You manifest it in a week. If it takes you 3 months, then cool. You still got what you wanted in the end. But the biggest thing is that transformation within, right? So even if it took you 6 months to get your specific person, but throughout that 6 months, you learned how to validate yourself. You learned how to set boundaries to where you're your best version of yourself, and you don't allow, the past things that used to trigger you. You don't allow that shit to happen anymore. That doesn't fly in your book anymore, right? And you've become a higher, better version of yourself, to where you know that you're chosen. You have high self-worth and high value. Isn't that worth it? If it took 6 months, isn't it worth it to fall in love with yourself and to really truly know your worth and how valuable you are? Shit, that's worth it to me, right? And then to have a relationship that you can fully trust your partner. You know that they're fully committed to you. They're showing up in a way that you've never experienced in a relationship before. Wasn't that 6 months worth it? Now, I've made this example before. Say it didn't take you 6 months and it took you a week and you half-assed it, but they came in. But you haven't changed. You still don't feel chosen. You're feeling really insecure. Yeah, you manifested them in a week, but they're treating you like garbage. They're not respecting you or showing up and prioritizing you, and they could care less if you're around or not. They just wanted a piece of ass, which is why they reached out. Yet you got your manifestation. They came in, right? You got the contact. You got to see them. But because you didn't do the change and you half-assed it, which one would you rather have? It take a little bit longer and get the full results and have the transformation within you and the icing on top, right? Along with the relationship? Or get fast results, half-ass it, and they're probably going to leave again and not show up as the best version of them. It's up to you, though. It's up to you. Looking at the process of manifestation as a gift. Yes. Yes, I love that. Got my SP back, then we went on a date, then he went cold. Okay, if he went cold on you, it's because you went cold in your thoughts, right? You started to focus on him because he came in and on the date and, oh my God, I did it, and oh, he's just so amazing, and started putting him back up on that pedestal, so to speak, right? We stopped focusing on us and becoming the identity of the version of us who is chosen, who is prioritized, and of course they're coming in hot. Of course they're prioritizing us and setting up dates. Of course they're texting us and reaching out. We stopped embodying that and we went back into the old state of starting to think, but yeah, on this date, he was there and we spent time together, but maybe he was texting a lot. Or after the date, he didn't reach out, or maybe we didn't hook up after. You started having like these intrusive thoughts of the old story of, but I don't feel prioritized or feel secure, and then he went cold, right? Again, we're focusing on what we don't want. So the way that you got him in was focusing on yourself and embodying a different state of consciousness of being chosen, being prioritized, being loved, being wanted, feeling good enough. And then he came in. So what do we have to do? Go back to that story. Start telling that story, right? And consistently tell that story. If they're around or not, we have to be consistent in our new state for this new state to become our dominant state. Hey, what happens if the guy unblocked you and you're manifesting him? Okay. Just as easy as it was to type in your name to then go into your profile and then click the settings to go to block, it's just as easy to go into those settings, your blocked list, and then press unblock. It's just as easy, right? So you tell the story of what you do want, the fact that you're in this relationship or whatever it is that you're looking for this example, we'll say relationship. But start telling the story, we're in this beautiful, amazing relationship and showing up, respecting me and cherishing me because I'm the version of me who's chosen. I'm deciding to be the version of me that is prioritized, that is loved, and I love myself. Would I date me? Hell yeah, I would. It would be a fucking honor to date me. And going into that story, right? In the repetition of doing this, it allows us to enter into a different state of consciousness because now we're thinking new thoughts. Because we're thinking new thoughts, we're going to perceive our reality differently. And because we're perceiving and thinking differently, we're going to start to feel different. So we're going to start having emotions of just wanting to live our life and just being present, have that knowing within us that this is guaranteed to us. We're going to start feeling a little bit more happy or joyous, right? They don't have to be big, huge, sensational kind of emotions, but just that relief. Just that little bit of happiness, a little smirk on your face, like, haha, I know you're mine, kind of attitude that you get when you're manifesting somebody. When you actually start to embody this new state, you'll notice that your identity begins to change, right? Because now you're entertaining a different pattern, right? And different neurons are firing together and wiring together. So you are literally becoming a different version of yourself. So to get him to unblock you, tell the story that I've been unblocked. We've been together. It's the best thing that has ever happened. I'm so glad I found manifestation because I manifested my specific person in and I'm successful at it. And it was so easy for me to do because I'm an amazing person and I'm a master at this. Telling a story of what you do want as if it already happened or is going to happen or has already happened. It doesn't matter which tense you use, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Sometimes I'm future tense. Sometimes I can be present tense as if it's happening now, right? But I'll play around with different ones depending on where my mood's at. But the end goal is to be into the knowing, that conviction that it's yours. It's a done deal. Alright guys, so I'm probably going to hop off. Thank you, you are welcome. I'm so happy I was able to help. What are examples for BBL? There's a whole bunch of different examples. It just depends on what you're giving meaning to. So if you're manifesting a specific person, maybe exes come back. Maybe new people come in and starting to pursue you and find attraction in you. If it's money, maybe you'll see other people, and this works for everything, relationships, money. Maybe you'll see other people getting jobs that you wanted, or getting pay increases of the one that you're manifesting, or other people stepping into relationships, or getting married if that's what you're manifesting. Maybe you have different signs or synchronicities of maybe somebody's name, somebody's certain numbers, their kind of car, whatever. It's just filtering out. Your reticular activating system is filtering out where your focus is, right? So if we're focusing on a specific story, then it's going to filter out everything in relation to the story. So you're going to start picking up these different things in your reality that resemble the path of least resistance, it's called, but resemble your manifestation, right? So because you don't have resistance to other people showing up, you don't have resistance to other people getting in relationships or other people getting jobs, right? So that's why it's showing up in your reality. It's a perfect reflection to say, continue doing what you're doing because it's working. It is not a, oh, well, they got it, how come I didn't get it? Well, manifestation doesn't work. And that's what a lot of people start to think. Oh, well, this isn't working, so-and-so got it, I didn't get it. Don't look at it like that, okay? Give everything positive meaning. If there is anything different happening in your reality, and this is what I try to convey to my clients, if there is any kind of change, good or bad, we define if it's good or bad, but if there is any kind of change in your reality, that is a huge indicator that you are shifting. Even if we don't understand it, say if it's something that we perceive as negative, even if we do not understand it, something different is happening, which means something different within us is happening. There's a change within us that's happening, and it's being projected out, right? So look at it like that. Those are just some examples of BBL. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. But yeah, guys, I'm going to hop off. Thank you. If you do want to sign up for any kind of coaching, I do have one-on-one services and text coaching if that's something that you're interested in. I do make custom subliminals and custom affirmations if you'd like to check that out. All of that is linked in my link tree on here. This live, along with past lives and future lives, get uploaded onto my YouTube channel, so if you want to follow me on there and watch other content, and I will be releasing probably later today the full success story of what my client had said about manifesting her person to pursue her and talk about engagement, which is what she's manifesting. So look forward to that as well. And as always, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions. They were absolutely amazing. I had a wonderful time. Hopefully you did too. You got this.